Domino sugar packets are everywhere today, but have you ever wondered about when the company was a monopoly? What kind of incredible mansions did that wealth build, and what eventually happened to them? Hi everyone, Ken here. Today we're uncovering the Manhattan mansions of the Havemeyer brothers. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore this house. This episode is brought to you in part by Victorian Society in America. More on them later. In the early 1800s, two German immigrant brothers, William and Frederick Havemeyer, arrived in New York City with a plan to sweeten America's future. Apprenticed in London, they carried with them the old-world knowledge of sugar refining, and in 1807, they launched their own business on Vandam Street, W&FC Havemeyer Company. It was a modest start, just two ambitious men and a gritty, hands-on process, but it planted the seed for what would become the most powerful sugar empire in the United States. As New York transformed into the nation's commercial heart, the Havemeyers' next generation followed the pulse of progress. In 1859, they moved their operations to the East River waterfront in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, then a bustling port zone, and rebranded as the Havemeyer Townsend & Company Refinery. Here they built one of the most modern sugar facilities of the time, powered by steam and geared for mass production. By the 1860s, their sugar was feeding a nation, and their wealth was beginning to rival that of New York's most storied dynasties. But for the Havemeyers, family always came first, and family meant business. The third generation, led by brothers Theodore and Henry Havemeyer, inherited not just the company name, but its future. Each took a different role in shaping the empire. Theodore, the elder by 8 years, was cerebral, cultured, and methodical. Henry was impulsive, defiant, and brilliant, a maverick in every sense. Together they weathered one of the most catastrophic events in the company's history. In 1882, a fire destroyed the Williamsburg refinery in a blaze that cost the family $1.5 million, the modern equivalent of nearly $50 million. It could have ended the dynasty. Instead, it marked a new beginning. Rebuilding from the ashes, the brothers constructed what was at the time the largest and most advanced sugar refinery in the country. Fireproofed with brick and iron, lit with cutting-edge electric lamps, and humming with industrial energy, it became known as the Domino Sugar Refinery. The name Domino was officially trademarked in 1901, but its roots ran deeper. The name was rumored to derive from the small, individually wrapped sugar cubes the company introduced, which were stacked like dominoes. What followed was nothing short of a revolution. In 1887, Henry launched the infamous Sugar Trust, formerly known as the Sugar Refineries Company. With ruthless efficiency, he acquired and consolidated 17 of the nation's 23 major sugar refineries under one banner, driving out smaller competitors and streamlining production. 4 years later, after the courts ruled the trust illegal, Henry pivoted once again, reorganizing the business as the American Sugar Refining Company, parent company to Domino Sugar, and appointed himself chairman, with Theodore serving as president. Together, the brothers engineered a monopoly that controlled an estimated 98% of all sugar production in the United States, and in 1896, the company was among the original 12 listed on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Domino's Williamsburg plant soon became an iconic fixture of Brooklyn's skyline, towering over the waterfront and filling the air with a scent of caramelizing cane. And while their sugar empire rose, so too did their personal kingdoms. Before we begin exploring the brothers' colossal Manhattan mansions, a quick word about the sponsor of today's video, Victorian Society in America. Are you captivated by historic architecture? Want to explore, learn, and dive even deeper into the past? With the Victorian Society in America, you'll have the chance to travel to American cities and tour stunning 19th century buildings, pursue learning through internationally acclaimed summer programs in American cities and abroad, including Chicago, Newport, and London to name a few. Additionally, members will enjoy a free subscription to 19th Century, the semi-annual publication packed with articles on art, architecture, preservation awards, and book reviews. Visit the website below in the video description and become part of the Victorian Society in America today. Thank you, Victorian Society in America, for sponsoring today's video. Now back to our tour. Theodore built a grand brownstone mansion at Madison Avenue and 38th Street, one of the earliest Second Empire residences in New York City. Its tall mansard roof and sculpted iron gates spoke to Parisian elegance, while its interiors echoed with the strains of chamber music and family laughter. Here Theodore lived with his wife, Emily de Lucy, daughter of the Austrian consul, and their 9 children. The home was as much a salon as it was a sanctuary, filled with rare musical instruments and fine art. Theodore, who served for 25 years as the Austro-Hungarian consul general in New York and founded the U.S. Gulf Association, lived at the intersection of diplomacy, leisure, and commerce. Of the most notable rooms in his mansion was what was referred to as the Chinese Room, which was filled with Asian antiques, some dating back to hundreds of years before his time. Henry's mansion, however, was in a league of its own. In 1889, he and his second wife, Louisine, purchased land at the corner of East 66th Street and 5th Avenue on the prestigious edge of Central Park. Just to put things into perspective, his neighbors included the Mrs. Astor, and his house can be seen in what is arguably the most circulated postcard to come from that era. Designed by Charles Coolidge Haight in the Romanesque Revival style, the granite-clad mansion looked austere to some critics from the outside, but inside, it was a riot of color, texture, and imagination. Henry and Louisine were not only collectors of art, they were tastemakers, patrons, and visionaries. The couple gave Louis Comfort Tiffany and Samuel Coleman nearly unlimited freedom and funding to design the interiors. The result was something never before seen in an American home. Iridescent mosaics shimmered in gold, pale green, and cobalt blue. Japanese silks and Chinese embroideries adorned the walls. A Tiffany chandelier inspired by Queen Anne's lace hung in the music room. And in the art gallery, the piece de resistance was the floating staircase, a golden spine cast of iron suspended by jeweled chains, tinkling with crystal fringe as one ascended. It was daring, it was surreal, it was a Tiffany masterpiece. And it was only a backdrop for their true passion, collecting. Influenced by close friend Mary Cassatt, Louisine was one of the first Americans to acquire Impressionist works. The Havemeyer collection, amassed through 33 transatlantic trips, included Rembrandts, Monets, and Degas. Their library, nicknamed the Rembrandt Room, was covered in fabric and glowing with Tiffany light. By the time Louisine passed away in 1929, she had donated more than 1,900 pieces to the Met, one of the largest gifts in its history. Much of the mansion's interior, including fireplaces, glasswork, and furniture, was saved and can still be seen at institutions like the Met and the University of Michigan Museum of Art. Even as the world around them changed, the Havemeyers held fast to their traditions. While Fifth Avenue's greatest mansions fell to apartment towers and commercial buildings, Louisine remained at 1 East 66th Street, paying astronomical property taxes, reportedly up to $100,000 a year, to preserve her way of life. But that was just a drop in the bucket, as she was known to donate millions to various charitable causes. Meanwhile, Domino Sugar continued its evolution. In 1900, the name Domino became official. By 1916, they were marketing individually wrapped sugar cubes, an innovation in both branding and practicality. The company was renamed Amstar in 1970 and underwent a series of acquisitions, eventually returning full circle and becoming Domino Foods in 2001. Domino remains the largest sugar company in the United States. Its signature yellow and white packaging still fills grocery shelves and restaurant tables, and its legacy remains deeply tied to the industrial fabric of the nation. And even though the Havemeyer brothers' mansions have since been lost to time, the impact of their legacies are still on our buildings, our museums, and even our coffee cups. They didn't just sweeten the nation, they refined it. And with that, I'll turn it over to you. Which of their mansions was your favorite? Let me know down below in the comments section. I'd also like to say a special thank you to Victorian Society in America for sponsoring this video. Make sure to check out their link in the video description and learn how you can get involved today. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time on This House.